everyone. My name's Ida Rosenblith. Uh, this is the sound of my voice. Quick question. Does anyone here like doing public speaking? Oh yeah? I look forward to that. So I don't, because I don't know, I've developed kind of a fear of it as I've gotten older. And so as a way to kind of combat that, I made a video of me giving an artist talk instead of giving an artist talk, which I think we'll play now.
Hello, and thank you for coming. It is my pleasure to introduce you to today's speaker, Ido Rosenblith. In the time that I have known Ido, he has been able to construct a kind of fictional cosmology that revolves around a fascination with the grotesque and dark social satire that informs the subjects of all his work. These images are populated with characters that always seem to be wide-eyed, warped, and awash in viscous tears. This compulsive glut of studies suggests a psychologically deep tradition, from the anthemic moai of Easter Island and the eviscerating gaze of portraits by fellow Missourian James Edwin Deeds, aka the electric pencil, to painterly influences such as Philip Guston and Nina Schutz. The results being work that uses color that can both appear precious, almost saccharine, but quickly turns sour and raw, vulnerable and nauseously unsettling, through which the observable world is translated by the unhindered, id-driven mind. Now I give you Ido Rosenblith. I hope that introduction sufficed.
Wow, that was great. I could never come up with all that shit. So, now do I take questions?
No, you have to talk about your work now, Did you bring your PowerPoint?
Oh shit, do I have to?
Yes, that is what artists are supposed to be able to do these days. Very important.
But I have a slight speech impediment.
Stop pussyfooting, Ida, and get on with it. People are waiting to hear your story and be greatly inspired.
Hello, and thank you for coming. I was asked to bring some slides, but first a little bit about myself. I was born the youngest child to a large Jewish clan in Tel Aviv, Israel in 1988. My mother is American and my father was Israeli. Soon enough, we all moved to New York, then Arizona, and finally Chesterfield, Missouri during the Great Deluge of '95. Chesterfield turned out to be a real awful place, and most of my family did not make it out of there alive. Luckily, around 2007, I managed to get out and into the Rhode Island School of Design, where I studied painting. At RISD, I went through a lot of phases. I had a Gerhard Richter phase, a Daniel Klaus phase, and so on. However, while I was living in Rome, I discovered the work of Philip Guston and started ripping him off almost immediately, realizing soon afterwards that for my thesis project at RISD, I should re-examine the events of my life that I was avoiding talking about. So I created a series of paintings that examine notions of trauma that can happen to a collective group of people. And then by the end of the series, the focus shifted to how trauma affected my own life. The series was surprisingly well received by the faculty, and they gave me a nice grant for all of my work. The series even ended up being bought by a collector in LA. Eventually, I ended up coming back to St. Louis, where I got a job teaching art and found a studio at the City Museum. Around this time, I started a blog of my daily art practice. The blog, I guess, got some attention, and eventually a book of the drawings I posted on my blog became a nice little book called Pink. Here's a video of the book in action. past June, I had a show at Port Condo Compound for the Arts of my work over the past 2 years. So that brings us up to date, where I am currently in the middle of a new series called Low Spectrum, based on Ellsworth Kelly's Spectrum 2, which hangs in the new wing of the St. Louis Art Museum. The series is a kind of subversion on Kelly's notions into how power and fury can be achieved by showcasing pure color removed of the conflicting influences of imagery. In response, I instead created my own color spectrum, but filled it with problematic imagery that really distracts the viewer from those pretty colors. Okay, so that is it, folks. Thanks for listening. The end.
Great. As you can see, I made that many years ago. I was asked by an artist named Tuan Nagun to give a talk to his students at the Contemporary Art Museum, and that's what I came up with instead of giving a talk. So some context for that. And then this is what I'm currently working on right now. This is an artist's book called The Tower. This is basically what I applied to Jentel with. This is what the project I'm working on right now. Basically, it's like when it's finished, it'll be a 120-page artist book that was made in collaboration with a New York-based poet named Paul Legault. And the book itself was made by a bookmaker named Lauren Cardenas. And each pictorial spread is based off of a corresponding page of poetry by Paul. And it's sort of, the idea behind it is each page is like, I'm sort of like responding visually to Paul's poetry. Not necessarily in like an illustrative way, like I'm not trying to like illustrate one-to-one like what he's talking about in each poem, because the poetry can, change a lot each poem. And so it's sort of just me kind of like trying to describe the process that happens when you read poetry and your mind becomes flooded with imagery, and then you just sort of draw the first thing that comes to you. And so this whole process was inspired again by the artist Philip Guston, who made a series of drawings in the 70s called Poem Pictures. And again, Guston, he didn't want his drawings to be just sort of like a thing that, illustration that goes with poetry. It was, to him, like I said, he wanted to make these kinds of direct visual responses that kind of can kind of stand on its own. So you don't necessarily need the context of the poem to enjoy the work as well. But this project I've been working on and off for many years, and it's kind of become my go-to like residency project, where I've taken this book to Vermont and Paris and Memphis, and now here to Wyoming. So it's been a good, fun kind of thing to bring, because it's like a book, unlike big paintings or something, it's much, you can just throw it in a suitcase and get on a plane and take it anywhere. So, so yeah, I think that's the last page. Yeah. Any questions?